Take a look at your screen as we are following breaking news that's just coming into our Live Now from Fox studios. We're learning on this Sunday the body of Chabad, a rabbi who vanished back on Thursday. We're learning from Israeli media he has been found in the UAE. A lot to dissect as Israeli intelligence suspect he was abducted and murdered by a terror cell acting on orders from Iran's regime. Joining us live this morning to further discuss and dissect this breaking news alert is distinguished lecturer of Homeland Security and Terrorism with the University of New Haven, Ken Gray. Ken, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us to further discuss this breaking news alert.
Good morning, Janae. Glad to be with you.
So a lot to dissect. We're learning of abductions, and for many people, this news takes them back to October 7th, when many of those people of Israel were abducted by Hamas. Could you set the stage for us and explain why this is still happening, as many people are thinking that ceasefire negotiations are getting closer and closer to becoming a reality?
Sure. So keep in mind that Iran is actually the puppet master controlling all the different puppets within the axis of resistance. They're controlling Hamas, they're controlling the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, the Syrians, the Iraqi militias, and the Houthis. And so here we see that it is not just confined to the axis of resistance, but in this case, it's believed that an Uzbek group may have been the ones responsible for the conduct of the kidnapping of Rabbi Kogan here from his either his home or his store there in Dubai. And then that happened on Thursday, and then his body was found today. So it's believed that this was yet another action carried out by groups that are beholding to Iran, but is furthering their attack on Israel by attacking an Israeli citizen there in Dubai in the UAE.
And Ken, as you were explaining that, thank you so much. This coming in now, just within moments from the Prime Minister of Israel. You see it on your screen in real time. The murder of Zvi Kogan of blessed memory is a horrible act of anti-Semitic terrorism. And we keep hearing this word anti-Semitic and terrorism, and how Israel is being hit from all sides. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, as you always discuss, how that conflicts. And then we're seeing these abductions as well. A rabbi, people thinking this happening to someone of faith, then he's found dead in the UAE. Also concerns of how the UAE is playing a role in all of this.
Absolutely. So Jews are not safe anywhere, and they are especially not safe when they are within the Middle East outside of Israel itself. And consequently, when Rabbi Kogan was operating a store there in Dubai, even though it was a popular store, and the UAE and Israel had been exchanging both business and coming closer together with relationships there. Nonetheless, they are still at risk, even in a place like Dubai, a place with a lot of business going on from all different parts of the world. So this is yet one more example of anti-Semitism, of Jews being attacked outside of Israel and inside of Israel. That being said, though, that there are a lot of different things happening right now. We've been focusing on the big items like the war with Hamas, like the war with Hezbollah, like the exchanges with Iran proper. But it also shows that these smaller incidents, and I don't mean to make this into a small matter, but I mean this involves the death of one rabbi here as opposed to the death of 20, 50, 100 people at a time. But it shows that there's an awful lot of balls in the air with this ongoing conflict.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned, Ken, that really stands out to a lot of the viewers, you said Jews, Israelis are not safe anywhere. And we're even seeing that in real time right here in America, the anti-Semitism that has happened at places of work, at places of education. Could you provide that perspective as well, please?
Yeah, the pro-Palestinian movement here in the United States has developed surprising legs on it. It seems to be a favorite among progressives across the United States. You see it really played out on college campuses in many places with the encampments. Columbia University, for instance, but not confined only to Columbia, but elsewhere in the country. But these pro-Palestinian or in actuality, anti-Semitism movements, because they are taking the side of the Palestinians in the Israeli-Hamas war. You hear chants of from the river to the sea on many college campuses, while a lot of the chanters do not know which river and which sea they're chanting about.
Yeah, and as we discuss these potential ceasefire negotiations, Ken, how does this right here in America and the anti-Semitism go against that? So let's put into perspective. Let's say a ceasefire happens. Well, you still have violence going on in many parts of America as it relates to this. So some might say we need a ceasefire right here in America with the violence happening as well.
I agree with that. So if Israel comes to a ceasefire agreement with Hamas, the question is, will this be over? And the answer is no, it won't be over because of the fact that the pro-Palestinian cause was there before this attack on October 7th. That is, pro-Palestinian movement is to get rid of Israel entirely and to turn all of that territory back into the Palestinian land, according to the Palestinians. And so just because the conflict were to come to an end, this would still be their long-term goal. By the way, talking about conflicts coming to an end, it's my understanding that Netanyahu is supposed to be meeting with the security cabinet today, discussing possibly coming to a ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah. And so perhaps that the northern incursion into Lebanon may be finding a time to take a ceasefire and come to terms with the war with Hezbollah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ken, because in real time, this coming down from the Associated Press, we learned of this airstrike that happened overnight from Lebanon. So people are actually wondering how those talks will go with Israeli cabinet and government as it relates to a potential ceasefire with Hezbollah, as Israeli military are thinking this airstrike happened from Hezbollah this Sunday.
Over the last couple of days, Israel has been hammering Hezbollah and has been hammering targets both in South Beirut and actually in Beirut itself. This attack by Hezbollah in response to that went against the Gilead base there on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. In response to the attacks by the Israelis in Beirut. So again, it's exchanges that have been going on throughout the conflict there with Hamas, is that Hezbollah launches missiles into Israel. Israel responds back with attacks against Hezbollah. But Israel, the difference between October 7th or October 8th and the current time is that Israel has moved both on the ground and in the air against Hezbollah deep into Lebanon, and Hezbollah is really being beaten up. And so I think that if they can establish that corridor once again, the corridor from the Israeli border up to the Litani River, and not allow Hezbollah into there, I think that they will be able to find terms to come to a ceasefire with Hezbollah.
Ken Gray, always a pleasure when we get to have you on the show. We appreciate your perspective and expertise on all things international relations. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.